in Seoul say that city had more than 11 inches of snow yesterday, bringing traffic to a halt and grounding hundreds of flights. More bodies buried under the mud have been found in eastern Uganda, bringing the death toll from the landslides to at least 20. Heavy rains had triggered the landslides that engulfed 6 small villages in mountainous terrain. More on these stories, townhall.com.
You just grin and bear it or bite the bullet when it comes to everyday pain? Don't. Try Relief Factor, a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, it's developed by doctors. In 3 weeks or less, you'll know whether it works for you like it works for me. Try Relief Factor for yourself. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. Not only is it open enrollment for a lot of people, it's when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. MediShare is the highest rated healthcare sharing ministry, and members save up to 50% or more on their monthly healthcare costs. Here's why now, too. If you join before November 30th and use the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. Could save even more. Call now. It's 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Justin.
Police and protesters clashing in Georgia after that country's ruling party suspended negotiations to join the European Union until 2028.
There's a large number of riot police moved in on the protesters. They deployed water cannons, there was pepper spray, and also suspicion, according to some of the reports from the streets, that some chemicals might have been mixed with the water because of the reaction that people were having. This morning I heard that police were chasing some of the journalists. They were beaten up, and 2 opposition female leaders suffered a broken nose and broken hand.
Police used water cannons, pepper spray, and tear gas to disperse protesters after Georgia's prime minister made the announcement. Officials also say that more protests are being planned throughout the remainder of the weekend. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com.
Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Good to have you with us back live on Sports Talk tonight, and we are full of it. Turkey, cranberry, sweet potato, and everything else that you took down on Thanksgiving. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday wherever you happen to be. Now we get back to the serious business of determining the state champion of 2024 tomorrow, noon at Clemson. I think, don't hold me to it, but I was thinking about this on my ride in. I'm pretty sure this is at least my 50th USC Clemson USC game. I think I've been to every one since 1975. And maybe a couple before that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to a big day tomorrow up in Death Valley. Weather's going to be perfect. Not going to be that cold. They're calling for 54 degrees during game time. It's going to be cold tonight up there, so if you're camping out in the woods, you're going to be a little chilly. You're going to need a big fire. But game time, perfect for the players. Nothing but sunshine, no chance of rain, a very slight wind, about 8 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour, gusting to 8, temperature about 54 degrees. So it should be very, very pleasant. So who's going to bring the heat tomorrow? Will it be the Tigers? A slight favorite by Vegas at 3 points. A team that's dominated the rivalry in recent years. A team that people are questioning, even though they are ranked 12th by the playoff committee, because their schedule has been picked apart by people, and for good reason. As it's turned out, it's no fault of them. They play who's in front of them. It's not their fault that the ACC pretty much had a rotten year, top to bottom, and they happen to be able to play the rotten tomatoes. They didn't get to play the ripe tomatoes. They played the rotten tomatoes throughout their league for the most part. So, if you're Clemson, do you have it in you to put it all together and have that great game, that terrific performance against a quality team? They didn't do it against Georgia. I'm not going to say that Louisville was a quality team. They were an okay team, and they laid it on Clemson, ran the ball way too well against them. And, I mean, you look at the rest of their performances, very uneven. You know, a bad half here, but a good half there, and a bad half here and a good half there. Makes you wonder. It makes you wonder about Clemson. But they might. Do they have it in them? Absolutely. Do they have the potential of going out and playing a great game tomorrow and beating South Carolina? I'm not going to say dominating. I don't think either team's going to dominate. I think it'll be a fourth-quarter game, like I said. Still sticking with my prophecy. You know, I don't make predictions. I deliver prophecies. I'm still sticking with the prophecy. It's going to be 28-24 in the fourth quarter. About 5 minutes to go. Clemson's going to have the football. And under pressure, Cade Klubnik's going to throw back across the middle high, and Eman Wari is going to intercept and return for the game-clinching touchdown. Just my view on the game tomorrow afternoon. South Carolina, battle-tested. That's one thing I think in their favor. I mean, Clemson is not going to be any more physical, any faster, any stronger than Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Really than Oklahoma in Norman. You have to factor in the home field. You know, South Carolina has gone into some difficult places this year, and they've done pretty well. They had the close loss with Alabama. Of course, they won at Oklahoma. Even Kentucky, early in the year when people thought Kentucky was good, they went down there and just took that game in front of a packed house. So they have performed well on the road. Have they played their best football? Have they put a complete game together? Maybe they have. You know, Texas A&M, that was such a one-sided win for them. Maybe so. Missouri, kind of an up-and-down game. Big early lead. They let it get away. Had the late drive late to pull it out at home. They have been tested. They have been under fire quite a bit. Does that help South Carolina tomorrow? Maybe it does. I would think that it would. They are a healthy team. If they get Simon back, which I think they are expected to, I think they are, I guess. They get him back, that's a big weapon. They get Brown back, that's another big weapon. The emergence of Campbell and Harbor give them two big receivers to throw to. So there's a lot of things to like with what they've got going on. Here's the question. I found this hard to believe until I went and looked it up to be sure. South Carolina has not rushed for 100 yards or more against Clemson since 2016. And that was 111 yards in a loss. So 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23 held under 100 yards rushing. And, of course, Clemson won every time except for one. On the other hand, Clemson has averaged during that same stretch 245 rushing yards per game. So they have proven to run the ball. What's hurt the Tigers, of course, turnovers. So quite simply, and I'll give you some coach speak here, quite simply, whoever runs the ball, stops the run, and doesn't turn it over is going to win the football game. Simple as that. Now, what if both teams do that? What if both teams can't run the ball and stop the run? So one of those would have to be eliminated. But if both teams run the ball and don't turn it over, then you could have, like I was suggesting, that late fourth quarter kind of game, which I think we're going to have. Should be a heck of a football game. National ramifications on this one, of course. And the committee catching a little bit of a break, I think, with Tulane losing to Memphis last night, eliminates that second group of 5 team from having a chance to be in the playoffs. So that opens the door, maybe takes the pressure off the Big 12 a little bit. By the way, did you see what Colorado did to Oklahoma State today? A lot of college football today, plus an NFL game. Right now you've got Ole Miss in a battle with Mississippi State. If you're South Carolina, you're pulling hard for the Bulldogs here because an Ole Miss loss eliminates them, and they're one of the teams ranked ahead of you should you beat Clemson. And this game's in Oxford. And right now, Mississippi State's hanging in there at 17-14 Ole Miss as they play in the third quarter. Earlier today, though, in Boulder, Colorado, Shedeur Sanders just went off. Do you vote him the Heisman Trophy winner? I mean, he's had a heck of a year. 52-0. Now, Oklahoma State just mailed it in. Listening to the broadcast, I think they had some quarterback issues to deal with, but 52-0 for Colorado, finishes 9-3. Sanders 438 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. Of course, Travis Hunter had an interception in the game. You have to consider him. That's what happens if you have 2 guys. Do you split a lot of votes when it comes to the Heisman voting? Of course, there's no bedlam anymore. Boy, if I'm a Oklahoma native, that would just piss me off to no end. Why did the state legislature not do something about that? Seriously, I would riot. I'd be a one-man riot in our state, a one-man protest and a one-man riot if that happened in this state. I'd be at the State House, and I would burn the State House down. Yes, I said it. I would burn the State House down if our legislature allowed that to happen. The schools are owned by the state. So you tell the schools to play. You pass a law. I mean, come on, don't tell me it can't be done. You pass a law that says these 2 schools will play sports and the football game will be played during rivalry week. We don't care what conference you're in or what television says. Period. End of discussion. You pass a law, that's that. Mandate it. I don't get it. Just like with Texas and Texas A&M, I didn't get that. It's funny how Greg Sankey has a way of breaking up long-running rivalries like South Carolina and Clemson. 121 going to be played Saturday, but the consecutive streak was broken up because of the COVID arrangement, which was not good. Boise State all over Oregon State, 34-18. That one's a final now. And Miami of Ohio beat Bowling Green 28-12. Minnesota goes to Madison and beats Wisconsin 24-7. Navy tops East Carolina 34-20. Ohio going to play for the MAC championship. Beats Ball State 42-21. San Jose State over Stanford, third quarter, 24-10. Colorado State leading Utah State. Make that the other way around. Utah State leading Colorado State 30-13. Of course, Utah State, the alma mater of the NFL's best quarterback, Jordan Love, who was sensational last night, if I must say so. And South Alabama leading Texas State 35-31, third quarter. And Sam Houston leading the Jamie Chadwells of Liberty 20-9. All right, there you go with that. We have David Shelton coming up In just a moment, we'll talk about the quarterfinals tonight. High school league playoffs, quarterfinals tonight, semifinals next week, and the finals finally get here the week after. We'll get a preview from David Shelton. Got some other news notes to pass along to you as well. When we get to the opportunity, we'll take your phone calls. We've got the football filibuster coming up. We'll give you our picks. And tonight on Birdies, Bogies, and Biceps with George Bryan, Tommy Two Gloves will join us.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Touchstone Energy Cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Turning face to stars and stripes, it's fighting back them butterflies, it's calling in the air, alright, yes sir, we want the ball. And it's knocking heads and talking trash, it's slinging mud and dirt and grass, it's I got your number, I got your back, when your back's against the wall, you mess with one man, you got us all.
Okay, we are getting down to it. Tonight, the state quarterfinals, semis next week, and then the championship games the following week. Let's get a feel for things from the man, the myth, the mystery, Bib, David Shelton, High School Sports Report, and the Post and Courier. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. How are you, David?
I'm full of mac and cheese, and I'm doing good.
Mac and cheese, that's your food of choice, huh?
I mean, I could eat that for breakfast every day.
Okay, that's great. Well, we got a lot of great matchups tonight, wouldn't you say, across the board? We should have some excellent football games around the state.
Yeah, we're getting into the nitty gritty. You know, in the old days prior to hurricanes, this would be the week. You know, you practice on Thanksgiving. You win one game and you're in the finals. Now you got to win two more after Thanksgiving, but for this year anyway. But yeah, these quarterfinal games are some really good matchups, and And then next week becomes even better matchups.
All right, I'm going to run through them quickly, each division, and you can kind of summarize. So in 5A D1, you got River Bluff at Dutch Fork, you got J.O. Mann at Spartanburg, Ridgeview at Somerville, and James Island at Sumter.
Yeah, I like Dutch Fork. I like J.O. Mann, possibly to beat Spartanburg. I've kind of been going back and forth all week on that one. I think Somerville is gonna handle Ridgeview, and James Island is not favored and probably won't win at Sumter, but they got a good enough defense. If they can score, 21, 24 points, and they got a great field goal kicker, they got an outside shot, but probably you're going to see the favorites win tonight.
Okay, Division 2. You got Greenwood at Northwestern. Hannah goes to Gaffney. Whew. West Florence is at Irmo, and White Knoll at Berkeley.
Yeah, I like Irmo. I like Irmo to win the lower state. I think they'll handle it tonight. That White Knoll Berkeley game could be interesting. White Knoll's normally got a great defense, but they've given up a little bit this year, and Berkeley can score. Greenwood is certainly capable of beating Northwestern, though I don't think they will. And that Gaffney-Hannah game should be very interesting, and we'll see if Hannah can find a way to rush for 300 yards like they normally do.
Good luck against that Gaffney defense. Okay, 4A, you got Camden going to West Side, South Point to Daniel, South Florence goes to Hartsville, Gilbert at North Augusta. North Augusta, kind of that unknown, that kind of quiet team that keeps on winning.
Yeah, they've only lost one game, and I think they're going to win tonight. Certainly a quality team. I think the two games that will draw the most attention are South Point and Daniel, and of course Hartsville, South Florence. Two PD rivals that have already played once this year and had a high-scoring game. I think it'll be high-scoring again. But I feel like West Side should advance tonight. They should beat Camden.
You look for a lot of points in that South Point game?
I think the potential is there for that. South Point's defense is pretty good, but Daniel can score. So I think South Point is probably going to need to score some points to win that game, which they're certainly capable of doing as well.
Okay, we go to the 3A bracket. You got Crescent going to Mountain View, Powdersville at Belton Honeypath, Keenan at Loris, and the game you're going to, this should be a special one, Dillon at Oceanside. They're playing that at Johnson Haygood?
Yeah, that's where Oceanside plays most of their home games. They rent out the stadium. They have to move it around every once in a while, but that should be a good game tonight. I think it's, a lot of people have been looking at when the brackets came out, and they circled this possibility, and I think it'll be a really good matchup between two teams that are capable of scoring points. And, we'll see if Dillon can handle that passing game of Oceanside. That's going to be the big thing. They don't see a lot of offenses like Oceanside runs. In the other games, I think Belton Honeypath and Mountain View are on a collision course. I think they'll both win tonight, and that'll be the matchup that everybody's been waiting on all year with the really good running backs in that game.
2A, not to take anything away from anybody, but don't you think Batesburg-Leesville at Clinton is the game of the night?
Yeah, I think probably so, because the winner really should be in the state finals. So I think this is a big time elimination game. Two really good programs. I think I don't know how much the stadium holds, but it'll be full. Probably is full by about right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You got Central, Fairfield Central, and Cheraw at Barnwell, and Philip Simmons at Manning.
Yeah, that's an interesting game. That's two teams that I don't think a lot of people, had penciled in to get to the third or fourth round. So that Philip Simmons Manning game will be interesting. I think Fairfield Central is is better than Central and will win that game in the upper state bracket, and we'll play the winner of Clinton and Batesburg. And I think and Barnwell, Barnwell's favored. Barnwell should win that game tonight.
All right, let's go to the 1A bracket. And Lamar goes to Abbeville, two magical names in 1A football or 2A football when they were 2A. Louisville at Hunter Connor Tyler, and Hannah Pamplico at Cross, and Bamberg Earhart at Lakeview. How many times have Bamberg Earhart and Lakeview crossed paths about this stage of the playoffs every year, it seems?
Yeah, that's I mean, two storied programs, two really good teams. One of them going to be going home. I like Cross to beat Hannah Pamplico, and we'll see if the slipper still fits for HKT. They're kind of the Cinderella of the playoffs in Class A, and going to Louisville is not going to be an easy chore. But I think the most interesting game, potentially the best game of the night, will be the Abbeville-Lamar game.
Yeah, this Lamar team, of course, we know their great history. And I thought maybe, if my memory's right, did they not lose a couple of times early in the year? Maybe had some struggles early on, but here they are going into Abbeville.
Yeah, they play a good schedule. They'll play up, sort of like what Abbeville does. Abbeville plays teams like Powdersville and Crescent, that are higher classifications. But I mean that's what makes these two teams, certainly capable of winning state championships, because they have been, battle tested. They go through their region and it's kind of ho hum, but prior to their region, they play some good people.
Well, you have a great view tonight being in that Citadel press box. That's a nice break for you, so you should enjoy that. And we will reconvene tonight at 10:05 with the high school scoreboard. Enjoy your game.
All right, man. Take care.
Thank you very much. Yeah, if you're going to watch a high school game like that, man, watch it from a college press box. Like, they have a very nice one there at Johnson Haygood. So, great seat for David tonight. And again, he'll be back with us 10:05 tonight for the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal, as this is a Founders Federal football Friday night here on Sports Talk. We'll have all the scores for you. Obviously, there aren't as many games as there were last week or the week before, but whatever we have, we'll bring them to you, and we'll have reports from guys who've been at games, and we'll dial up more coaches. We'll have more time to hit up winning coaches. Coaches love to hear from us this time of the year because that means they've won. You don't call the losers, you call the winners. So they actually take our calls and like talking to us this time of the year. Thank you, David Shelton. Great stuff as always. We're coming back with the football filibuster. See what the governor and the AG have to say about things. We'll be back.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org, federally insured by the NCUA. Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org, federally insured by the NCUA.
SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. On this Black Friday, retailers around the nation pushing for great holiday deals, trying to get customers in with promises of bigger discounts. The day after Thanksgiving still reigns as the unofficial kickoff to the Christmas shopping season. Authorities investigating after a Russian national who did not have a ticket boarded a Paris-bound Delta flight in New York and was arrested when the plane touched down. Delta Flight 264 took off Tuesday night from Kennedy and landed at Charles de Gaulle Airport the next day with a stowaway who had somehow bypassed security. It's being called one of the worst storms in decades in South Korea. Officials in Seoul say the city had more than 11 inches of snow yesterday, bringing traffic to a halt and grounding a lot of flights. This is SRN News.
Hey, pet parents.
Customer service. We all talk about how it's gone down the tubes in recent years, but not everywhere. Not with the Hickory Hill Insurance Agency. These are the folks I want you to feel comfy reaching out to for your Medicare and health insurance needs. Tim Hanberry and Medicare Blueprint have joined Hickory Hill Insurance. The result? Even better customer service with a bigger team to help you by utilizing the very best technology in the industry. And you know what else? Just plain old caring about people and treating them like their family. When you call them, you'll get a call back fast. When you need a question answered, they'll take the time to help. This industry is so confusing and so ever-changing. They have a team that knows the best plans for you. They'll ask all the questions, they'll get all the answers, and as always, it won't cost you a penny to get their services. The best way to learn more? Visit the website, partdandme.com. That's partdandme.com, or call the team at Hickory Hill Insurance Agency. They're local, and they're willing to talk one-on-one. Remember, customer service still matters. 708-7398, 708-7398, or online, partdandme.com.
If you step onto H&J Cattle Company's farm, you'll find third-generation farmers upholding the legacy. They embrace sustainability and take immense pride in their craft, raising cattle purely on nature's offerings, without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. The result? Unmatched quality beef that's not just good, it's the best in South Carolina. Experience the distinct flavor of our finest registered Hereford and Wagyu beef. Visit us online at hdjcattle.co or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle CO.
The holiday shopping season is here. Get ahead of the crowd by shopping early and shopping smart with Founders Federal Credit Union. Now through December 31st, take advantage of 7.99% APR on select purchases made with your Founders credit card. Go get the hottest toys for the kids or maybe even book a holiday getaway with your family. It's all possible with Founders Federal Credit Union. Spread more holiday cheer this year without breaking your budget. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for more information. To obtain additional cost information, please contact us at 1-800-845-1614. Terms and conditions apply. On July 1st, 2025, the promotional APR will revert to the effective APR as previously disclosed. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for a list of qualifying purchases. And happy holidays from Founders Federal Credit Union.
Hi, John here from Redbird Windows and Doors. You know what really bothers me about my industry? It's gimmicks instead of honesty. With Redbird, it's pretty simple. We do absolutely great work, we're local, and our projects are fairly priced. If you're ready for some new windows and doors or need our help, you'll get high-quality materials, service, and my personal guarantee. Online, find us at redbirdwindows.com or call me directly at 727-0561. That's 727-0561. Redbird Windows and Doors.
Welcome back to Sports Talk, everybody. It is that time of the week, every week during the football season, where we go inside the minds of two political geniuses and two, well, they're the Foo Fighters, two football fighters. We'll just call them the Foo Fighters here on Sports Talk. We welcome in former Governor Jim Hodges and current Attorney General Alan Wilson. Welcome to you both. Hope you had great Thanksgiving meals and ate a lot of good food. Governor, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good. I'm excited about tonight and really excited about the Carolina-Clemson game tomorrow.
Absolutely. General, welcome in, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you again.
Absolutely. Before we start, I got to bring this up to both of you because, General, you're currently a powerful dude, and Governor, you're a former powerful dude. But I brought this up before. I'll bring it up again. We got to do something about protecting the South Carolina-Clemson rivalry. You know, this year, no Oklahoma State because of the defection of Oklahoma to the SEC, and that's pretty ugly that you had Oklahoma State playing Colorado, and Oklahoma's playing who? LSU, I think, this weekend. That's just not natural. So, I mean, I'm fearful that one day we're going to have a situation where it's going to break up the Palmetto Bowl, which would be an absolute sin. We got to have some legislation in place to guarantee that rivalry, that game, and all athletics between the two schools, those are never touched. Governor, say something, do something.
Well, I don't think you're going to need that. If they stop the Carolina Clemson game, there'd be a revolt among the fans. I think the policymakers know that. Yeah, the big risk, I think, Phil, is if they mandate an extra SEC game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where the squeeze comes in. If they have to play one extra SEC game and it limits the number of non-conference games that they can play, that would be when it would be more at risk. But I don't. I mean, I think there are plenty of others like Georgia Tech where they want to play that rivalry game and they'll be sensitive to that.
General, wouldn't the legislature have power over college conferences? I mean, if the legislature passed a law, a mandate that says they must play, that those leagues couldn't do anything about it?
Well, the legislature can do a lot within the borders of South Carolina. It's with those schools outside of South Carolina. But I'll tell you what the Attorney General can do. The Attorney General can bog down the NCAA and the SEC in lots of very expensive litigation. I can open up a state grand jury investigation into white-collar criminal allegations. There's lots of things we can do to threaten people and to cajole them into doing the right thing, which is not touching the Palmetto Bowl.
That's what I'm talking about, Governor. A man who brings some action, right? He was bringing some action right there. I like it. All right. I'm glad we settled that because I promised I was going to be a one-man riot myself. I was going to burn down the State House if they didn't get it fixed, if it comes to that. I'm just fearful. I mean, look, we already had it was the second longest running rivalry consecutive in the country until the COVID schedule came out, and that killed that. So, I mean, 121 games now coming up Saturday. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so last week, Governor 3-2, General 2-3. You guys are deadlocked, dead even at 32-33. So, General, you've been sliding back here just a little bit of late.
No, the governor's done a great job. He dug himself in a hole early in the season. I think I was up 5 games, and now we're tied, so kudos to the governor. I'm hoping I can tighten my game up this week and pull back ahead.
Okay. Governor, are you ready, sir?
I'm ready. I'll say this, but even the so-called experts that you see on ESPN and CBS Sports, they're all about 500 too. So this has been one of those years where it's really hard on point spread pick games.
Well, listen, I think 500 against the spread's not bad. You know, you're not going to win any money, but you're not going to lose any money for the most part. All right, let's get to it. General, we will let you start tonight since Governor's been leading off recently, but he's caught you, so we'll let you lead off tonight's picks. We'll start with the big one in the ACC that no matter what happens in the early part of the day tomorrow, Clemson fans should be tuned into this unless they're just too depressed over the results of tomorrow. Miami at Syracuse, and Syracuse at home getting 11. General.
So I think Miami's going to win this game, but at Syracuse, I think that point spread is going to be tight. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give Syracuse. I'm going to go with Syracuse on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll probably lose, but with the home court advantage or home field advantage, I'm going to think they can keep it within a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Syracuse has a great journalism school there, Governor. They send almost all their broadcasters to ESPN, in case you're wondering. Not that those announcers will have any bias when they call this game. So what do you like here? Miami is an 11-point favorite.
I'm with the General on this. Miami has not impressed to me. They keep games closer than they should. I think this is a field goal game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take Syracuse in points.
Syracuse in the points for the both of you. Okay, Auburn, Alabama, not the national showdown that it is most of the time, but it's still the Iron Bowl. And they're playing in Tuscaloosa, Governor, and Alabama, despite what happened to them last time out, favored by 11.5.
Yeah, I may give the General a chance here. I think that's just too many points for a rivalry game, and certainly Auburn is playing a little bit better right now. I'm going to take Auburn.
You got him. General, who do you like?
I'm with the Governor on this one. I think this is rivalry week. It's the end of the season. I think the games are going to be a little bit tighter. I think that spread's too big, so I'm going to go with Auburn.
Okay. I don't know. Angry Crimson Tide. We'll see. Georgia Tech at Georgia. Georgia Tech coach talking some smack this week towards Kirby Smart, and Georgia at home favored by 19.5. General.
All right, well, this is one of those ones where I would normally say that the spread's a little too wide, but I'm going to go with Georgia on this one. I just think there's something ominous, and it's almost like you're tempting fate when you start talking trash. So I'm going to go with Georgia on this one, covering this point spread.
All right, Governor, what you got?
So I'm going to say the spread is too wide. I'm going to take Georgia Tech.
You want Tech? Ramblin' Wreck.
Yep.
Georgia Tech's been out there spending a lot of money. They've been stealing a lot of commitments from other teams. They're trying to build something big there, but, boy, if they could pull off the upset, that'd be huge for that program. Don't see it happening. All right, Texas at Texas A&M. Finally, we get these teams back together in a rivalry that should never have been interrupted, going back to what we said earlier. And, Governor, it is the Longhorns going into College Station, and they're favored by 5.5. What do you think?
I'm going to keep this theme of too many points. This is a rivalry game. I think talent-wise they're pretty similar. I'm going to take A&M.
A&M. Okay, General, what do you think?
I had A&M also.
You still want them?
Let's go to amendments, and I'll consider it then.
Okay.
Right now.
Why do you like A&M? Too many points?
Yes, for the same reason.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, that brings us to the game of games, the Palmetto Bowl, number 121, South Carolina at Clemson. Clemson favored really by 3 today, but we've got it at 2.5 when we put our picks together. So we'll go with 2.5. Clemson favored by 2.5. South Carolina, boy, the Gamecock fans are feeling pretty cocky out there, no pun intended. They think they might have this one. General, your thoughts?
I mean, look, this is always a tough game. I mean, this is one that I've really struggled with. But and again, I'm a diehard Gamecock fan, but I think this is the year that South Carolina has got they've got all the momentum. They've got an offense that's firing on all cylinders. Clemson's coming in a little dinged up with their line. I just think South Carolina's going to go in there, and it's going to be a tight game. I think it'll be like 2 years ago, but I'm going to go ahead and go with South Carolina. If they lose, it'll be by a point. But I think South Carolina's ultimately going to win.
Want the 2.5. Okay, he's talked himself into it, Governor. You know, like I said, the Gamecock fans out there, they're talking themselves into this thing. What do you think?
So I think he's right. The key number to me is, and I think the number is either 32 or 36, and that's the number of seniors that Carolina has on its roster. I just think in these rivalry games, the last opportunity to play in a more mature team, that makes a difference. I mean, they're really evenly matched and should be a great game, but I think Carolina is going to win this one.
All right, you both want the Gamecocks, so you only disagree on Georgia Tech, Georgia. So, General, we consider you the underdog. We'll let you go first with amendments. Anything you want to amend besides that Georgia Tech, Georgia game?
Well, I've been considering underdog my whole life, so thank you, Phil. I'm going to go ahead and switch my Texas at A&M, and I'm going to go with them covering the spread. Give me Texas.
You want the Longhorns? That's not a bad decision, I think. Governor, you got 3 that you can amend. South Carolina, Auburn, Syracuse. You want to change anything?
I don't think so. We've got 2 games different, and we're going to have a bowl series too, right?
I'm going to have a championship series next week and then the bowl.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'll 2 games difference enough, so I'll stick with that.
Okay, gentlemen, that's great. So, differing on A&M and Texas and Tech and Georgia. Everything else, USC, Auburn, Syracuse, is the same. We wish you well. Have a great weekend. Either of you going up to the Valley tomorrow?
I'm not.
I am not. I'm going to be here with friends and family watching it from the comfort of my couch,
Mhm.
and that way, if things go badly, I can turn the channel.
I'm with you.
Governor, how about you? Do you still, I mean, like you were governor, do you still get like special treatment if you go up to Clemson, like a special parking place and a seat in the president's box?
I get the same treatment that I always got at Clemson, if that helps.
Oh. Is that not a good thing?
No, just a rivalry. They're actually very nice. I'm not playing. I mean, a noon kickoff is not good for me. So, like the general, I'm going to watch it from home.
Gotcha. Well, you guys have a great weekend, and again, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for being with us. Good luck, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay. Governor Hodges, General Wilson, we thank them. They both take the Gamecocks. They both take Auburn. And they both take Syracuse. They differ on A&M Texas. Had to twist the General's arm to do that. And they differ on Tech and Georgia. What do the real experts think? The Sports Talk Pick'em panel, the SPP. And where is the competition? Where does it stand? We'll update all that after the break.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is here, and as you get ready to go out on the water this spring and summer, make sure you have all the required safety equipment on board. Check for a sound device. A horn or whistle will suffice for most boats. Inspect all of your life jackets. Make sure they're in good condition and are the correct size for all of your passengers. If your boat is over 16 feet, you will need to make sure you have an approved throwable device on board as well. Remember, boating safety is no accident.
Farm Bureau insurance agents live and work right in our community. They're not at the end of some 1-800 number thousands of miles away. The personalized attention, competitive rates, and a reputation for fast, fair claim service sets Farm Bureau insurance apart from the competition. For your auto, home, and life insurance needs, trust Farm Bureau Insurance. In Clinton and Lawrence, give Buddy Bridges a call at 864-984-0413 or stop by the office at 726 East Main Street in Lawrence to see how local makes a difference.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef, it's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff Program.
Last throw, big guy.
Come on, baby. I need me a giant bear.
I got this. I am the target. Ben, throw.
Oh,
well, look who won a giant bear. That's a grizzly.
Oh, Mama's baby bear.
When you join the South Carolina Education Lottery's Players Club, you get way more than you expect. More chances, more wins, and more surprises.
Yeah, he's had all his shots. Just don't look him in the eye.
Join the Players Club at seeducationlottery.com because more happens here.
George Bryant for Tsunami Bar Sports, our inventor, David Abernathy, has always said Tsunami Bar technology allows us to take the training to the grass. Now I know through my sport of golf that natural agility can be converted to athletic ability. And why is this, Tsunami Robbie?
Transferring the training to the grass. This may be the most undervalued characteristic of the Tsunami flexible bar technology. The Tsunami bar action loads and unloads at the concentric and eccentric transition points. This is what we call reversal forces, and the Tsunami bar is the only bar and training device that I know of that can train these reversal forces adequately at speed.
Hey, this is Phil Kornbluth. The Tsunami Bar is a terrific training device, whether you're working on your fitness or your golf game. It's convenient, it's easy to use, and you won't feel beat up afterwards. Be sure to click on the digital ad on SportsTalkSC.com and get 5% off any order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait, order today.
Now, Sports Talk Picks, brought to you by Experience Columbia SC, right here on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we appreciate the governor and the general being with us, but now it's time to step it up. Step it up in football knowledge, because the Sports Talk Pick'em panel is here and accounted for, except for Pat. He's always late. So, where do we stand? Dr. Rick, 38-27. He is your leader. Sitting in second place is Jim Corbett and the rookie Josh Cohen.
I'm in second place.
Well, you're tied with Jim.
Well,
and I comes before O, so technically Jim would be ahead of Josh in the standings.
I'm in second place.
Tied for second. Smitty and Teddy are next at 33 and 32. Then I lead the under 500 group, 32 and 33. Not for long. Fran and Bobby, 31 and 34. Kev Cohen, 30 and 35. Not having a typical Kev. He's had a lot on his mind. New house. New baby. Oh, he didn't have a new baby. New house. 2 kids in college. I'll take your mind off of things.
Yeah.
Don, 29 and 36. And Matt, 28 and 37. Chris, 26 and 39. In last, once again, by himself, in his mother's basement, Alan Smothers, 25 and 40. Let's get to this week, see what we got. I was 2 and 3 last week. Give me Syracuse in the points, laying the points with Alabama and Georgia. Give me A&M the 5.5, and you know my South Carolina Clemson pick. I got the Gamecocks. Josh, what are you doing?
I'm taking South Carolina up at the Death Valleys of the Carolinas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Texas. I'm taking Georgia, Bama, and Syracuse.
Okay, you were 2 and 3 last week.
Yeah, and by the way, I just until today, I just learned all about the betting stuff. I've been going blind this entire
So
season.
you had no idea that you knew we were picking against the spread, but you didn't know how it worked?
I knew exactly, I knew what we were doing. I didn't know how it worked.
Oh, my God.
So I'm just lucky, I guess.
Amazing.
Maybe I should keep it that way and not, I shouldn't have learned.
Yeah. Ignorance can be bliss, they say.
Yeah.
All right, Chris Bergen, who's not with us tonight, of course, because he's off with Coastal Carolina football, 1 and 4 last week. So he likes Syracuse and Alabama and Georgia and Texas and the Gamecocks. Dr. Rick Sanford, number 1 draft pick, number 25 on your roster, number 1 in your heart. Drick has a lot of names. 4 and 1 last week. And he's riding with Miami and Alabama and Georgia and Texas and South Carolina. Matt Smith, Smitty, heading down to Florida to do some soccer play-by-play. Very talented man. 1 and 4 last week. He's got Syracuse, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Texas A&M, and South Carolina. Is everybody picking the Gamecocks? We don't have Pat's picks yet. Let's go to Kev Cohen, the landlord. A pitiful 1 and 4 last week. Syracuse, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Texas, the Gamecocks. I'm telling you, it makes me worry about picking South Carolina because so many people are picking South Carolina. It really worries me. Bobby Hart and the Big Kahuna, one-time USC Mike Man, the star, the king of Charleston radio. 3 and 2 last week. He likes Miami and Alabama and Georgia Tech and Texas A&M and the Gamecocks. I am really nervous about this Gamecock pick. Is everybody pick? So far, everybody, we don't have Pat's picks. Everybody's picked the Gamecocks. Fran, the money coach, Halloran, ka-ching. 2 and 3 last week. Did I mention that Bobby was 3 and 2? Fran was 2 and 3. Syracuse, Alabama, Georgia Tech, Texas A&M, South Carolina. By the way, if you're watching the stream, Josh is holding up the wonderful, expensive, exclusively made for Sports Talk trophy that goes to the winner. Isn't that gorgeous? This is going to the winner this year. What a prize. What a prize. All right, Teddy, I'm so sexy without my shirt, Hefner. 2 and 3 last week, and he's going with Syracuse, Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M. He's picking Clemson. He's taking the Tigers. Of course, he had a couple of kids go through Clemson, so he's got a lot of money up there. Allen, the bad boy of Sports Talk Radio, 1-4 last week, as I mentioned, securely in the basement. Syracuse, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Texas, and the Gamecocks. Jim Corbett, attorney for the Stars. You need an attorney, you call Jim Corbett. Simple as that. 2-3 last week. Syracuse, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Texas A&M, South Carolina. Dandy Don Williams, godfather of Sports Talk, 1-4 last week. Syracuse, Alabama, Georgia Tech, Texas A&M, and the Gamecocks. How about that? So everybody except for Teddy, who's gotten their picks in, I know Pat will pick Clemson. So everybody's picking South Carolina except Teddy and most likely Pat. Makes me worried. Overconfidence. But are the Gamecocks that good? Are they that good to go into Clemson and roll? Or is Clemson going to play their best game of the season and deny the Gamecocks? Defy and deny. That's why they play the game. There you go. Those are our picks. And we'll see how we do this week. Updating things down in Oxford, it is 26-14 Ole Miss over Mississippi State late. About 4:49 to play in that one. Liberty has scored. They trail Sam Houston late, 20-12. All right, couple of quick notes. We reported on our X, and by the way, if you haven't done so, make sure you jump on our new X account at Sports Talk Posts with an S. At Sports Talk Posts with an S. Source told us earlier this week that South Carolina's administration has identified and interviewed their top target for the AD's job, and we're told the two sides appear to be moving towards an agreement. No timeline was shared, and not putting out any name or anything like that because you just never know how these things go. Negotiations can turn on a dime. So, only reason I put it out there was just to let you know that things are apparently, according to our source, who's a pretty dialed-in source, I would say, that things are moving. I know people are wondering when South Carolina going to name their new AD. Well, it looks like things are moving, and something could be coming together here, not too far down the road. ESPN has shut down the Myrtle Beach Invitational. It will be no more. And we'll be back, top of the hour break.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Weichert. Black Friday still reigns as the biggest day of the year for in-store shopping. Here's White House correspondent Greg Clugston.
Retailers have been pushing early holiday sales for weeks now, but the day after Thanksgiving remains an incredibly important day for department stores, shopping malls, and merchants. Many shoppers browse and buy online, but brick-and-mortar stores still enjoy a surge in foot traffic this holiday weekend as bargain hunters look for deals. This year, there are 5 fewer days between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Greg Clugston reporting.
Bankrate.com senior analyst Ted Rossman says there are expectations for slight growth this year.
The National Retail Federation, Deloitte, MasterCard, various sources place the expected holiday sales growth at somewhere around 2 or 3%. So kind of in line with inflation. Growing, but not exceptionally so.
Also at townhall.com, the head of Britain's Foreign Intelligence Service says Vladimir Putin is conducting a reckless sabotage campaign against Ukraine's allies, risking the escalation of the conflict. The MI6 chief, Richard Moore, says for the sake of Western security, Russia must not win the war in Ukraine.
If Putin is allowed to succeed in reducing Ukraine to a vassal state, he will not stop there. Our security, British, French, European, and transatlantic, will be jeopardized. The cost of supporting Ukraine is well known, but the cost of not doing so would be infinitely higher.
Insurgents breaching Syria's second largest city, Aleppo, and are battling government forces on the western edge. Marks the first time that city has been attacked by opposition forces since 2016. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Nothing. Hi, Mom. Ooh, it's so cold out there. Surprise, I brought you something.
Socks. Oh, heat holders original. Wow, this is so soft and cozy.
Heat holder socks are the warmest. I use them for snow sports and around the farm. I also bought a bunch for my new work site. The other guys were so jealous they all bought them. And the best part is the socks come in 3 levels of warmth. Originals, lights, and ultralights.
Oh, Jill can use the ultralights when dog walking. Oh, boy. I know what everyone is getting for gifts this holiday.
Heat holder socks are the warmest. An independent lab test proved they're 7 times warmer than cotton socks. We use a proprietary 3-stage process, advanced insulating yarn, a long loop thermal pile, and brushed on the inside. This process helps trap warm air closer to your skin longer, keeping your feet warm, comfortable, and dry, making heat holders the softest, warmest, and most comfortable socks guaranteed. We also have hats, gloves, throws, and so much more. From now until Cyber Monday, use the code HEAT25 to save 25% off your order. Free shipping for orders over $25. Go to heatholders.com.
A handful of Massachusetts lawmakers taking on the tobacco industry.
The legislators are hoping to persuade their colleagues to support a proposal that would make the state the first to adopt a ban meant to eliminate the use of tobacco products over time. Other locations have weighed similar generational tobacco bans. The bans phase out the use of tobacco products based not just on a person's age, but on the birth year. Lawmakers plan to file the proposal next year.
That is correspondent Jeremy House reporting now. If approved, the measure would set a date and ban the sale of tobacco to anyone born after that date forever, eventually banning all sales. NCAA efforts to get lawmakers to address problems in sports could pay off with a new GOP-controlled Congress. Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz says a college sports bill will be a top priority. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com.
Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back. It is hour number 2. Show is flying by, and because we got a lot going on, sharing a lot with you. We're excited about the weekend of college football and the NFL. There is an NFL game going on today as well. Kansas City and the Las Vegas Raiders are playing in Kansas City. Get you an update on that real quick. Looks like Ole Miss has that game gone final? No, very close. 12-point lead, very close to going final there in Oxford. Looks like Ole Miss is going to pull that one out and get the 9 wins, 9-3. And they will hope that, somehow, some way, that's going to be good enough to get them in with 3 losses. As for the NFL game between the between the Raiders and the Chiefs. If I can find a score here somewhere. And put that game on a Friday. I mean, Raiders and Chiefs used to be such a big deal. Put that game on a Friday of Thanksgiving weekend during the daytime. Well, probably did very well as far as the ratings are concerned. Have you found a score?
Yeah, 19-17 Chiefs.
How about that? Is it over?
Yeah.
What's
It
over?
was. I think it was a 3:00 game.
How many games have they won by like 1 or 2 points? It's amazing. The number of games, 19-17. And let's see if I can pull up their schedule real quick. The number of games, I think they're setting a record for like the number of close wins by like less than 2 or 3 points. It's amazing. Somebody, well, they've already been gotten once, but, you know, that's going to catch up with them at some point in time, I would say.
Yeah. Looks like they beat the farthest gap was against the Saints. It was 26-13.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like that was the biggest.
They're now 11-1.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of their wins have been tight ones. But you know what? They all count. They all go in the win column. So if you're a Chiefs fan, you say, hey, get used to it. We're winning games and finding a way to get it done. But you do wonder if that's going to catch up with them at some point. Okay, a couple of other notes then to kind of wrap things up this week for the Palmetto Bowl. Some final words from the two quarterbacks who will be at the center of attention. And we'll give you some recruiting here coming up in just a little bit. Clemson basketball, the Tigers are just getting underway against Florida A&M at Little John Coliseum after going down and winning a title in Florida. So they're starting to put things together, starting to figure things out just a little bit, I would say. A couple of other notes. Former USC running backs coach Thomas Brown is the new interim head coach of the Chicago Bears. He had been their offensive coordinator recently. Now he's been promoted because they fired their head coach after a debacle of a finish yesterday. Oh, my. And you knew that was going to happen, and so it happened. South Carolina State quarterback Eric Phoenix is one of the 2024 HBCU Plus National Player of the Year finalists. The winner will be announced on December the 9th. He has had himself one heck of a year, and the Bulldogs, of course, MEAC champions, undefeated in the league, and they will be playing in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta in a couple of weeks. All right, let's hear from these quarterbacks. You know, I'll never forget a quote from Todd Ellis many years ago when he was playing, of course, and Rodney Williams was the quarterback at Clemson. In a newspaper article previewing the game, Todd Ellis said the most truest of things. For 3 hours, he and Rodney Williams, or the quarterbacks in that game, they are the most important people in South Carolina. They're more important than the governor. They're more important than South Carolina. You shake your head? I'd say so. More important than the Corn himself? Yeah. I'd have to elevate the two quarterbacks as the most important people. Now, I know it's a team game. The quarterback is 1 of 10 on offense, and he's not going to do anything if the other 10 aren't doing their jobs. But you know what I mean. It all starts and possibly ends at the quarterback position. So let's hear from the two quarterbacks. Cade Klubnik, quarterback Clemson, to the win last year in Columbia. Remember now, the Tigers did not score an offensive touchdown. They won 16-7. They had 3 field goals and a defensive touchdown to beat the Gamecocks because they shut down the Gamecock running game, and they also shut down Spencer Rattler, for that matter. So Klubnik talked to the media earlier this week, and it wasn't that game he was asked about first. It was that loss up at Clemson back in 22. He didn't play in that game. He was on the sideline, and he saw how that impacted the seniors who would not have another chance to beat the Gamecocks. We pick it up with the questions to Cade Klubnik.
Seeing that Texas A&M, Texas-Oklahoma rivalries firsthand, at what point did you realize, was it as a recruiter or player, what this rivalry means to the state?
Yeah, I think I definitely realized it just kind of, coming in the spring and,
hearing about it and kind of people talking about it and everything that it was. And then kind of hearing about it throughout that summer. I remember going down to Columbia with Will Taylor one time and just kind of hearing more about it, but you don't really know it. And I don't really think that you can really know about it and experience it until you truly experience it. And we played them. And I think that once that happened, it really set in and what it really meant. And I became very aware of that real quick. So
that game 2 years ago here.
Yeah.
You didn't, obviously you're watching DJ, the offense is struggling at times. How frustrating was that? And then after that's over, and you had to hear from fans on both sides.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was a lot of definitely mixed emotions. As a competitor, you're always wanting to play, and I was wanting to play, and it hadn't been my time yet, and that obviously came the next week. But I wanted to play, but that wasn't my decision. I had to be patient and wait through it, and I was okay with that, and I was content with that. But yeah, having to walk off that field and then march in our, field definitely was not something that I enjoyed at all. So definitely something I still remember a lot, and but it's tough. It was a tough moment, and yeah.
I was talking to Phil yesterday, and he said of that game, just having the seniors walk off, and that was kind of the situation. I mean, how much was that part of it? Just that their careers kind of ended that way. I mean, how much do you remember that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that. Obviously, it was a tough feeling for them, and not a feeling that I want to repeat at all. So, I remember Davis Allen and just guys in that room, J Mac, and guys on that offense that they had to leave their career like that, and I felt so bad for them. Yeah.
How much does it add? I mean, the fact that you guys beat them in Columbia, they beat you here, you beat them in Columbia, does that kind of add a different element kind of going into this game? Everybody's trying to defend their home field, but that really hasn't been the case the last several years.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's everybody. You want to defend your own place, and we're gonna have a good crowd on Saturday, and we want to represent the people that came before us and the people that are coming. So we'll be bringing it.
Coach Sweeney has talked about Lenore Sellers and you both being dual threat guys, and that you need guys like that in today's game. Have you watched Lenore at all and have any kind of perspective on his game and kind of why running quarterback is kind of so important nowadays? Yeah,
I haven't watched a lot. He's a heck of a player, though. Being I think it's first-year starter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's his first year starting. I know that that's not an easy task, and he's obviously been killing it this year, and just the things that he's been able to do with his arm and his legs, it's definitely fun to watch. And what I've seen of him, I haven't sat down and just watched him because I don't really do that a whole lot of the team I'm going to play of their offense, but of what I heard, he's a heck of a player and can definitely use both at times very well. So,
all right, okay, Clubman. You get the feeling, really, when you listen to the players and the coaches. This is a game. Is it a game that, like any rivalry game for that matter, a game that you are? Is it more that you dread losing it versus the joy you get out of winning it? I mean, is it more about, hey, I cannot stand to lose this game because I know what the next year is going to be like around here if we lose, versus, man, this will be great to win it, the joy of winning this football game? I mean, I think a lot of them walk that line where there's just that edginess about what it's like if you lose it. Certainly it's the game you want to win, but I think more it's the game that you least want to lose. That's what makes rivalry games so great. You just don't want to lose that game. I mean, there might be bigger fish to fry. Even when Clemson was losing 5 in a row to South Carolina, they were still winning ACC championships and playing for the ACC championship the next week. Yet they still had to deal with losing to South Carolina, even though they went on and maybe won an ACC championship. They still had to deal with that losing to South Carolina. So I think it's the game that you just do not want to lose the rivalry game. So Lenora Sellers, growing up in Florence, of course, knows all about the rivalry, though he says he wasn't a big watcher of college football. He has said that before, including the rivalry game. But he gets his chance to run things for the Gamecocks now. It's his time to step up and see what he can do against the Tigers. And he went to the media this week to answer those questions as well.
What's sort of your mindset heading into this week with all that's being talked about and at stake on the outside, I guess?
It's just another game. I got to focus on having a good week of practice so we can go out there and execute Saturday.
Or you've already played in Alabama. You've played on some big stages. This is the first time you're playing in Clemson. What's the mentality going in to kind of battle the nerves, I guess, for lack of a better word?
Just going to it, like I said earlier, just like as another game. It's like a rivalry game, so it's like a lot of energy, high energy game. But it's just another football game. So.
Lawrence, what have you seen so far out of Clemson's pass rush and what you're going to have to watch out for this weekend?
They got a good defensive line. They've always had a good defensive line, even last year. Just watch a film on them. A lot of man coverage, 3-deep coverage. They mix it up a good bit. So.
I know obviously you're focused on the Clemson defense, but you've seen Cade Klubnik a little bit. The two of you have both had great years. Do you see any similarities between yourself and Klubnik, maybe just in the style?
He's athletic. He can run it. Just seeing like they run like Q power, stuff like that, the read option stuff. So he's good at that. He can get the ball downfield, get the ball to his playmakers.
Lenore, you had an opportunity to be a part of this game last year. Granted, watching from the sideline as Spencer was playing and stuff, but what did you kind of learn from that experience last year of going through that week? And do you seek out advice from anyone that's been a part of the rivalry before?
It's just, like I said, a high energy game. Like, the people care about it. Just two teams, Carolina and Clemson, probably the biggest game in our state. But, I mean, they just took it as another game, so that's just how I'm going to do it too.
How does playing at a place like Alabama kind of help prepare you for facing a crowd that you're going to see on Saturday?
Just being an SEC game, Alabama being an SEC game, just like SEC crowds are always into it, like no matter where you play at. Like if you're playing anywhere away, it's like hard just because of the crowd. So, I mean, just being a South Carolina crowd, and I know it's at Clemson, so, I mean, they're very passionate as well. So, just another game.
Illinois, did you watch the Carolina-Clemson game when you were growing up, and is there one of those games that stands out to you?
Actually, I didn't. Growing up, I didn't watch any Carolina-Clemson games.
You didn't watch the 2022 game?
That game, obviously, but the games before that, I never watched them.
What do you remember about that game, watching that, and just kind of how it played out from the slow start for Carolina, and then obviously the win?
I know they started off slow, and then they got rolling a little bit. Special teams got into it. They got rolling. Clemson made some mistakes, special teams-wise, then they capitalized off those, and then pretty much Juice got the screen, got the first down, and then that was the game.
There was a couple of games in a row you had in the middle of the season where turnovers were a little bit of an issue, and we talked to Shane and Dow a lot about that. But I guess from your perspective, what was kind of your mental process with that? And then facing a Clemson defense that really likes to force a lot of turnovers, how are you kind of preparing in that regard?
Yeah, just not thinking about it too much. Like, just got to go out there. You got to play. Don't, like I said, think about it too much. If you think about it too much, that's when it ain't going to happen. So just go out there, play my game.
All right. He is really trying to be understated about this thing. Several times he said, just another game, just another game. I think he'll figure it out. It's not just another game. He'll figure that out. He's young. It's first time. Klubnik had to go through it last year, and they kept him in check last year. The Gamecock defense did. He only had 100 yards passing and about 50 some odd yards rushing. Obviously, the defense is dominated. For the most part, Clemson did rush for 219. All right, be right back with recruiting.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. You're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Set your youth up for a lifetime of financial success with Smart Start from Founders Federal Credit Union. Smart Start products and educational resources help teach kids and teens the basics of saving, budgeting, and smart spending. Help them learn smart money skills to jumpstart their financial journey with Smart Start savings, debit, certificates, and educational resources. Learn more at foundersfcu.com/smartstart. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown. Helping an aging loved one arrange for their care can be one of the most difficult things you will ever do. Fortunately, you don't have to navigate this maze alone. Lawyer Lisa's knowledgeable life care team can lead you down the right path. Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Touchstone Energy Cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawells Catering.
All right, let's get to the recruiting report brought to you by Seawells. Be sure to hit up Seawells next week for the daily luncheon buffet from 11 till 2, Tuesday through Friday. And for the best in catering, look up the menu from Seawells online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Also give them a call at 803-771-7385. Clemson, of course, going to have prospects in, some of whom are looking at South Carolina as well. Some of those who have said they'll be in tomorrow: receiver Donovan Murph, Irmo, in the 26 class, running back Tony O'Banner of Thomas Hayward, offensive tackle Malcolm Gaston of North Augusta, offensive tackle Desmond Green of Timberland, offensive tackle Zion Gillis of Carvers Bay, Dorman safety Kentavian Anderson, wide receiver Gordon Sellers of Charlotte, offensive tackle Leo Delaney of Charlotte, 27 quarterback Mason Holtz-Claw of Arden, North Carolina. Sam Spiegelman of Rivals reported, as of this week, Michigan looked good for flipping. Safety Jordan Young from Clemson. Paul Strelo of Tiger Illustrated, however, reported Clemson feels confident about keeping Young in the class. Irmo receiver Donovan Murph, in a 24/7 Sports article by Anna Adams, cited Clemson as his, quote, top, end quote, team right now following his official visit. He plans to be back on Saturday. He's also taking an official to USC and looking at Colorado and Ole Miss for possible visits before he announces on January 2nd. And I think that is all that we have that is new for now. Well, do want to mention that 3 North Greenville players with eligibility have entered the portal, John. Offensive lineman Condavius Gary, 1 year. Safety Gavin Edwards, 3 years. And safety Warren Conway with 1 year. All right, before we get to birdies, bogeys, and biceps, Had to find something spicy from Dabo Sweeney. Remember a few years ago when he was asked the question at a press conference about Clemsoning, the word Clemsoning. Remember his response?
Well, I think it's ridiculous that you're even asking me that question. That you even say the word. I mean, I'm serious. I'm sick of it. I don't even know why we even bring up the dadgum word. How about some of these other teams out there that lose to unranked opponents all the time? That's our 33rd win versus unranked opponent. We ain't lost to anybody unranked since 2011, but I have to come to a press conference in 2015 and get asked that. And that's all media bull crap. I can tell you how they feel about it. They don't like it. It's a lack of respect. It's not doing your homework and paying attention to what reality is. Should not be asked that question. Period. That's how we feel about it. This football team right here has earned the respect. Ain't nobody giving us anything. Not 1 ounce of anything. They've earned everything they got. And when I have to turn on the TV and people bring up that word and they try to casually throw the word out there like you do, but it's still the word. It shouldn't even be in the conversation. That's how they feel about it. That's how I feel about it.
I apologize. I was not trying to be offensive and say it.
Well, same thing today. Rhetoric on TV today. Same old bull crap. People need to get some more adjectives. This football team is showing up. What else they got to do? We've beaten Ohio State, Notre Dame, LSU, Oklahoma, Georgia, Auburn. We've beaten 33 unranked opponents in a row. We're 7-3 versus top 10 teams. People need to quit talking about that. It's like people are trying to push their own agenda out there. And I can't believe I got to come into here with a 5-0 football team that just had a great win and have to be talked about Clemsoning. I shouldn't even be in the conversation.
I appreciate what you're saying. My point was simply that this is a team that clearly rebounds quite well, even after a high.
If we lose this week, it ain't because of Clemsoning.
No, obviously.
It's because we just got beat. We're human. We're just human. Good God Almighty, man. Look all over the country. You got all kind of teams out there getting beat. I mean, we're a football team that has earned everything they've got. And again, to answer your question, they don't like that. It's a lack of respect for what these guys have done. This program doesn't take a backseat to anybody. We're not better than anybody. We can lose Boston College. That's the biggest game of the year, and they're dang capable of beating us. Had a great chance to beat us last year. We were fortunate as heck to win that game, but we won it. And if they beat us, it ain't because we had some bad whatever. It's because they just beat us. That's football. It's like everybody's sitting around waiting on us to lose a game so they can say, oh, well, there you go again. No, that's bull crap. Next question.
And now, let's get ready for tomorrow. But before that, let's talk some golf. George Bryan coming up. Tommy Two Gloves Gainey joining us as well, coming up after the break.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Just like Chris Morning's college football rivalries and your in-laws that won't leave, Black Friday deals are back again at Palmetto State Armory. Whether you're a cranberry sauce lover or hater, you're going to love the deals from Holison, Savage, and 6 Hour. We have BOGO deals on Hey Dude shoes, $100 off select Costa sunglasses, and of course, more savings on PSA rifles and pistols than you can shake a turkey leg at. Stores open at 6 a.m. on Black Friday with deals lasting through the weekend while supplies last. Check out PalmettoStateArmory.com for all the deals and to find the location closest to you.
SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Insurgents have breached Syria's largest city, clashing with government forces for the first time since 2016. Those on the scene described the surprise attack Friday on Aleppo that sent residents fleeing and added fresh uncertainty to a region reeling from numerous wars. Desertion is starving the Ukrainian army of desperately needed manpower and crippling its battle plans at a crucial time in the war with Russia. Ukrainian officials say thousands of its troops have walked away from combat and other frontline positions. Massachusetts lawmakers hoping to persuade colleagues to support a proposal that would make the state the first to adopt a ban meant to eliminate the use of tobacco products over time. Bans phase out the use of tobacco products based not just on a person's age, but birth year. This is SRN News.
Nothing is more important.
You don't normally call a plumber until you need a plumber. Well, if you need one today or if you need one tomorrow, I want you to remember Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Listen, I might not know all the tricks to turning a wrench, but I do know how a plumbing company should work and how to treat people. My dad was a plumber, my grandfather was a plumber, and so were 3 of my uncles. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning does it right. They are the epitome of customer service. They're locally owned and operated, and Josh and his team, well, they put customer service as the top priority for Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. I've never known a business owner more intent on making it a great experience for people. And let's face it, when you have a plumbing crisis, well, that could be traumatic. They specialize in service and replacement issues for your home or for your business. They've been to my home and fixed 3 different plumbing issues I had in the house. If you need them, they're there to help. Online at franklinplumbing.sc.com or call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning 799-2222. That's 799-2222. And tell them Kev sent you from The Point.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. During this holiday season, families and friends like to get together to celebrate Christmas. If you need a space to host your event or your family get-together, Flight Deck Restaurant can help. We can accommodate parties from 10 to 100, everything from setup to cleanup. Now, most importantly, during this wonderful Christmas, we at Flight Deck and our families want to thank our Father in Heaven for sending Jesus to be our Lord and Savior. Thanks y'all, and may God bless you, and may God bless America. Merry Christmas.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with The Point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We've built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
Here's a shocker. It gets hot in South Carolina. Seems kind of crazy that if you got a home or you got a business, you're sick of the power companies controlling you, demanding rate increases every 6 months, sick of your power bill going up. You can't even pick your power company, but you can choose Broker Solar to give you some control over that bill. Solar panels are not free like some of these stupid yard signs say. These door knockers often, well, they're scam artists. Not Broker Solar. They don't go knocking on the doors. I told Ken I want some incentive for our Point family listeners. So purchase a system from Broker Solar. Your first solar panel is free. Look, I'm not into scare tactics, but this is an election year, and the way things are going, well, maybe it's time to stop relying on the government or these power companies. Broker Solar offers you control. Solar can save you money. These solar batteries are amazing. What a huge difference they can make. Do your homework. Online, it's brokersolar.com, or just call Ken. I trust him. I really do. You can also. 807-7417. That's 807-7417.
4. Straight down the middle. It went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee bit. And that's when my caddy lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day. But it went straight down the middle, like they say.
Well, we got 2 people joining us tonight who do hit it down the middle. I could say 3, but I don't hit it down the middle. Like I said to George one time, I love fall and winter golf because I like the sound of leaves and nuts cracking under my cleats as I'm walking through the woods looking for my golf ball, because inevitably that's where it is. Let's welcome in, brought to you by Tsunami Bar Sports right here in Columbia. Great training facility, great training tools. He is George Bryan III. Welcome in, George.
Oh, thank you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
What a beautiful weekend. There's it looks like it's going to be a little nippy. And I can tell you, based on game time, the golf courses tomorrow afternoon. Oh,
all right, wait a minute. Wait
many-
1 second. You don't dare play golf during the South Carolina Clemson football game.
I can tell you, there's technology out there, and the golf courses will be all alone, so nobody will tell me what the score is. And absolutely, I'll be running tracks around a golf course to be announced, likely Selena, and likely, and those are 2 hour 18 holes on days like tomorrow afternoon, and I'll DVR it. And nope, that's how it works.
I understand. So you try to stay away from the score while you're playing because you're DVRing it and you just want to see it when you get home, or you don't want to be distracted?
Oh, I might. There's the way it could work based on tomorrow is I could play and then start watching about 3 o'clock, and it's pretty quiet where I am out in Chapin, and I can kind of watch the game on delay without a problem. And so that's just what I forecast, what I envision tomorrow afternoon. So,
and still eating your turkey? Will you still be eating your turkey?
Taking naps, and I can, nap time could take place, and I am a little wonky and quite weird, but that's just how I roll, and I love it that way.
Understand. Well, George, we have a special guest tonight. We tend to have him on the Friday after Thanksgiving pretty regularly because I see him at our special South Carolina Clemson marathon broadcast in Florence. He joins us there, and I always see him and say, hey, Tommy, join us for the golf show on Friday night. So he is with us once again, worldwide known as Two Gloves, but to us he's just Tommy Gainey, joining us here on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps. George, take it away.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what a privilege it is, and still the number one amongst what I just call the true gentleman on the PGA Tour. He is number one, most popular Pro-Am partner, and always a crowd favorite. I want to welcome in Tommy Gainey. Tommy Two Gloves Gainey. How you doing? Happy Thanksgiving, Tommy.
Well, fellas, I'm doing pretty good because I'm full and I'm ready for a nap, ready for a shower, and just ready to just lay on the couch and maybe fall asleep. But, Georgia is playing Georgia Tech tonight, so I'm ready to see that because my wife's family, which is my family now, they are Georgia fans. So I am pulling for Georgia tonight to embarrass Georgia Tech. But I'm doing well. I appreciate y'all having me on the show. I seen Phil Wednesday morning at the press box when we did it at Rivals, which it's an honor to be there every year. Bad Boy invites me, and I just can't say no.
A lot of fun. And you add a lot because, yes, you're a terrific golfer. You're a pro, but I think football's a passion of yours. Gamecock football is a passion of yours, and you keep up with the Gamecocks. You follow what they do on the gridiron.
Absolutely, I do, Phil. Listen, I can tell you one thing. The two biggest Gamecock fans you'll ever meet, me and Darius Rucker. And I would have to say, it is a close race between me and Darius as far as the biggest Gamecock fan of the two. But you know what? As popular as Darius is, and as much as I love the guy, I'm going to give him the nod. I'm going to let him have the best, as I guess you could say, the best Gamecock fan. I'm going to say the most popular. He loves them, and I do too. I am looking forward to the game tomorrow. But I can tell you, I'm not like George right there. He's talking about, well, I'll just wait till 3 o'clock to watch it. Wrong answer. I'm going to be watching it as soon as they kick off. Because I am intrigued by this game because this is the first time in a long time that I believe, and I think there's a lot of people out there also believe the same thing, that South Carolina has the better team this time around. But we all know we are playing at Clemson, and we all know that crazy things happen at other people's home field. We all know that because we've watched football. Phil, you've watched it. George, you've watched it. I've watched it. Everybody's watched it. And you know when you go to another person's field, home field that is, anything, and I mean anything, nothing's guaranteed. I mean, you still have to play the game. Doesn't matter who the better team is. You still got to play the game.
Absolutely.
No question. And speaking, I know we're going to get back to football, and I probably won't make it till it'll probably be right about 2:00 tomorrow. I realize that 12:00 game, probably 1:30-ish, 1:30 to 2 is when I'll have to kick in and start watching. But home field, it's always tough to play at home. And Tommy, last week there was a home game for the golfers, and I know you look at Sea Island as your home, just about your home track, and something odd happened, and I couldn't quite explain it. But golf courses side by side, wind constant. One is exposed on the course. One course played, and I'm watching it, and I kind of knew that when we hit the holes at the time we did, that it was the wrong angle, the wrong wind at the wrong time at Sea Island. And you were out amongst it. Can you explain what was going on between the two courses and why one played so much harder than the other one?
Well, I got to say, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head I think you just answered your own question. The thing is, Seaside is wide open. I mean, there's no trees to stop the wind. But Plantation, there's a bunch of trees, and you know when you get a bunch of trees and you get a lot of wind, what happens? The wind swirls. Sometimes you can feel the swirl, sometimes you can't. And sometimes you judge it right, and sometimes you don't. And when you don't judge it right, you're looking at double in the face. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't play good. I played good the first day at Seaside. The second day, I didn't hit it quite as good, and I scored bad. And when you have strong winds there, it's just not an easy golf course to figure out. And I haven't figured out the Plantation because I have not shot better. Well, let me put it this way. I have shot over par on every single round at Plantation since they went to the two golf course tournament. I've shot over par every round on the Plantation, and I can't figure it out.
We're talking to a past champion of the RSM, and again, Tommy Two Gloves Gainey, who was instrumental in even Wesley's development, who is one of his compadre tour players, and there's several other South Carolina players quite young out there. And Tommy, the Northwoods game is where Wesley cut his teeth, and George and a number of others, including Dustin Johnson, and so it's been a lot of fun over the years walking the fairways of the PGA Tour, and I'm going to repeat myself again. There's nobody that is a more popular Pro-Am partner than the man on this radio show right now amongst the fans of the PGA Tour. He's always number one, the most talked about, and that's been going on for as long as you've been out there. I guess over 10 years, 12, close to 15 years now, right, Tommy?
Yes, sir. I've been out there since 2008. And, I mean, I really appreciate the compliment that you just gave me because, you know, my parents raised me right. So what you see from me is the way they are. So that's what they did to me, and that shows what kind of parents they are. That's first and foremost. The thing is, I get it. I understand what it's like to play in the Pro-Am. I can relate to the Joe Blow, the regular guy off the street, and I can relate to the CEOs, even though I have nothing close to what kind of money they have. Because there's two things, and a lot of Pro-Am guys, a lot of PGA Tour players, and a lot of pros, they don't understand. This is the deal. They want two things. They want to be shown a good time, and they want to have a chance to win. That's it. That's it. They don't want anything special. All you got to do is just show them a good time, and have a chance to win. That's all they want. Because I don't know what they pay to play in these pro-ams. $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. I mean, it could be more, it could be less. I don't know.
I mean, it's
but
a lot more than that now.
Myself.
Hey,
that's all I do.
That's what's so beautiful about Tommy is, real quick, more than one time he said, George, it's a privilege being out here. I can vividly remember making $8, $10 an hour, working really hard in a job, and now look at what's going on. I'm playing on the PGA Tour, and he tells the story real easy, and then he wears it, and the folks absolutely adore him. So, and Tom, a quick update. What is your status category? You going to the finals next week? Are you in second stage? Give us an update.
In a couple weeks, I'm going to go to finals. I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, it's a long shot for me because, I mean, listen, I'm 49. I'm on my way out of the PGA Tour, looking forward to the Champions Tour. But I finished 53rd on the Korn Ferry Tour for a 49-year-old. That's a pretty big accomplishment.
That's
congratulations. I don't have to be the one. I don't have to be the one to tell you. These guys out here on the Korn Ferry Tour are really good. They are really good. And for me to finish 53rd, that is saying something. But I am looking forward to the 50. But I am also looking forward to, in 2 weeks, when I go to finals, you know, I know there ain't but 5 spots available, but, you know, it's on 2 golf courses that, you know, I'm familiar with. One, Sawgrass Country Club, I'm familiar with playing in Jim Furyk's Pro-Am tournament a long time ago when it was just a regular charity tournament. And now it's a Champions Tour event. So kudos to Jim Furyk and his wife and everybody associated with Furyk, because great people, they do great things. And he's done great things. And I'm glad the Champions Tour people really looked at this and said, well, we want this to be a Champions Tour event because you know what? It is awesome. I mean, the people they get to play in it, the celebrities they get to come and play in it is unbelievable. Second to none. So for me, I'm just licking my chops to get ready to get out there and just to have fun with guys my age instead of these 20-year-olds hitting it 80 yards by me and everything like that. So it's going to be a lot more fun for me because, you know, I've put in the work. I've put in the time. It's time for me to enjoy it a little bit. And trust me, it's not any fun when you get your head beat in every single week by these Korn Ferry guys. It's unreal how good they are.
53rd on the Korn Ferry list is significant. And I think you'll agree, most of these young players, stout, just about as solid as what you'll see on the PGA Tour. In fact, the way they play but the Korn Ferry's not quite as set up, not quite as difficult as the PGA Tour courses. Now, Tommy, you can comment on that. Is that accurate? The rough's not quite as deep, not quite as narrow, and those are 3 questions here for you. Comment on that statement. And then here's the thing. Those young fellas, they free it up pretty good on the Korn Ferry, but when they get on, so they're playing free against you. They get on the PGA Tour, it tightens up a little bit. They don't quite bring the game as a veteran as you. And again, 48 years old, all you armchair quarterback out there listening, imagine yourself, how about this, 45, 50, 55 years old, teeing it up and playing football against those, not just the Carolina Gamecocks, but some of the NFL, some of the second-string NFL players. I mean, we're talking about stout here on the telephone. This is South Carolina country strong, Tommy Two Gloves Gainey. So I ran on a little bit. Comment on those questions I threw out to you and comment.
Okay. All right. So first off, I think everybody needs to understand that the Korn Ferry golf courses are not the same as the PGA Tour golf courses. Let's just throw that out right now. Because the Korn Ferry Tour tournaments, I mean, they're good tournaments, good sponsors, and we appreciate everything they do. But their golf courses are not as tough as the PGA Tour, whether it's the rough, whether it's the length, whether it's the way they're set up. I mean, all that stuff it plays a big part in the scores that end up winning the golf tournaments. Plays a big part, huge part. And the second thing is, I am so lucky that I'm healthy, so lucky that I'm able to have a place to play. I really appreciate the Korn Ferry Tour. I mean, it's a really big part of trying to get you ready for the PGA Tour. But the part that it fails on is the tournaments on the golf courses that we play on the Korn Ferry versus the PGA Tour. They're not the same. They are not the same. The PGA Tour are way harder than the Korn Ferry Tour. And as you see, some of those guys that finish in the top 25, top 30, some of them, they come back after 1 year because it's a big step. And
now
everybody outside of golf, they look at that and say, well, God, that guy finished like 17th on the Korn Ferry, and he gets on the PGA Tour, and he's got to go right back to the Korn Ferry. Well, you know what? Being a rookie on the PGA Tour is not easy. It's not easy. I mean, those players on the PGA Tour are the best players in the world, and the Korn Ferry as well. But there's a reason it's the PGA Tour, the best tour in the world, and there's a reason the Korn Ferry Tour is the second best tour in the world. There's a reason. The players play, and I mean, those players are really good. And there's just a huge difference between the PGA Tour players and the Korn Ferry players. And it's one shot, because the way I look at it and what I've learned through my years of being on both tours is basically pretty simple. The PGA Tour players, they hit one shot, then they make birdie. The Korn Ferry Tour players, they hit one shot that'll save them a par. That's one shot. That one shot is the difference between the PGA Tour and the Korn Ferry Tour. That's it. It's just one shot. One shot, they make the birdie. One shot, the Korn Ferry make the par. And, you know, if you don't think that one shot is a big difference between the tours, then you need to reassess professional golf.
Yeah, and you've been there for a while, and these new rules, the new rules at the PGA Tour, Lucas Glover was right vocal, and not rules necessarily, but the way they're trimming the fields. Do you have a comment about that?
I do. But first thing, before I get into that, I got to say, George, I got to tell you this. The year Wesley Bryant had, pretty unbelievable. Okay? Now, you know we're friends, and, you know, I think a lot of you, I think a lot of Wesley and George. I have to say, on air, and I tell everybody else this, the guy had an amazing year. He really did, because you look at what his number was going into the year, and you look, I don't know what it ended up, but it couldn't have been more than 126, 127. So he
ended up at, he'll have a little status, 128. And
okay, so he finished
compliment.
at 128. So he was 200 and something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, you're about right.
Last year, coming into this year. And you know what? He played good. And, you know, everybody says how you fix the problem is you play better. Well, you know what? Wesley did. So kudos to him for playing better and having more opportunities because, I mean, listen, we're all adults here. We see what's going on. The PGA Tour is failing the players. They are failing the players. They are listening to about 10 guys, and they're trying to run the tour through the 10 guys. The 10 guys don't make up the PGA Tour. And you know what? They're going to wish that they didn't do this later on in another 2 or 3 years after they start all these changes in 26. They're going to wish that they didn't make all these changes because it's going to be a big problem. I can see it. Everybody else, they ain't crazy. They can see it. But I'm really happy for Wesley. He played well, and he's got a lot of tournaments coming up. So he'll have as good a chance as anybody else to finish inside the top 100 for the 26, which, you know, I'm happy for him. You know, him and his family, and you as well. But, you know, these changes, I'm going to tell you, Lucas said it all. I mean, they talk about one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. And listen, I hate to talk down to the tour because they've done a lot for me, but the truth is the truth. You don't come out and say all the changes that we make is to try to speed up play. You don't cut fields because you're trying to speed up play. It's been a slow play issue for a long time, and just in the last 3 or 4 years, they talk about, well, you know, daylight savings, we just can't get finished because we don't have enough time. Well, you know what? If you play faster, you don't have to worry about it. But there's so many players that takes 2 minutes to hit a golf shot. 2 minutes. Think about that. 2 minutes to hit every shot, no matter if they shoot 68 or 72. Think about it. 2 minutes to hit every shot. That's a lot of time. If you can't hit a golf shot in less than a minute, you should get 1 minute. If you can't hit it in that 1 minute, then you need to get fined. You need to get stroked. You need to get FedEx Cup points taken away from you. You need to get all that stuff. But you know what? They side with their favorite players. And I like all the guys. Listen, I'm a huge fan of golf. I love all those guys. I love the PGA Tour. I love all those guys. But you know what? The last time I checked, there's like, I don't know, 200-something members on the PGA Tour, not 10. So how about make some decisions for the whole tour and not just a select few?
Well, that's one of the things the veterans have brought out. There's not a players union at the professional level. At this point, I'm not sure what the minimum requirements would be, but there's no question with the presence of the LIV Tour, the other variables, I'll say the status of the DP World Tour, the Australian Tour. There's no question that we're getting ready to embrace over the next couple of years changes. I wouldn't hold on to that 100. I got a feeling that could easily be amended, adjusted, and I think 2025 there's going to be some announcements that could make that 100 even obsolete. I don't know the details. By the way, I don't have any inside info either.
Well, let me
too many things bubbling around.
Let me jump in, guys. We got about 30 seconds, so go ahead, Tommy, because George likes to put out.
Let me leave you with some food for thought. So I'm going to just go ahead and tell you right now. Nobody, no matter what anybody else says, the PGA Tour and the PF's already agreed on something. They don't want to come out with it. They don't want to say nothing about it, but it's already a done deal. What they're waiting on, I have no idea. There's something that they're waiting on. And listen, you know, Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka playing against Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler.
Hey,
why?
Hate to do this, but we got to go. Tommy, thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
George, you want to put out?
Tee 'em high, but shoot 'em low. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend.